Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Look, since the election, that was the 6th. Today is the 8th. Oh, hang on. Sorry about that. I've been watching YouTube. I've been trying to see what people have been thinking about. I've been trying to see what people thought about my own video. Now, I had a few dislikes. I had one like. I had one person just leave me a comment saying simply, well, what was it? I voted for him because he was black and I support him for the middle class. Duh. You know, I've looked at a whole bunch of videos, at least 30 of them so far. And most of what I've seen is people dancing around, happy as hell. I have no problem with it because I didn't vote for either one of your candidates. And just beyond recognition, just happy. The only thing I heard that was anything was that they were glad that he was reelected and that he does better going forward. But you know what? I haven't heard one thing about what he's going to do different. Now this video is going to be simply what happens now, going forward. And this is what I see for both parties. For the Democrats, you folks right there, I'm going to make this very clear for you. No matter how much you yell, scream, and laugh your asses off on Republicans, and probably you're thinking this is a Republican, I'm an independent, baby. I chose Johnson, knowing full well he was going to lose. Because as a libertarian, I'm not fond of libertarians, but you know what? He had better sensibility than both these guys put together. Honestly, it don't matter if he's white, and there's a lot of people, just like I said in my comment for the video that I made for my reaction, this person said, I voted for him because he was black and that he was for the middle class. That meant that person really didn't think about anything. Because if they say, I voted for him because he was black first, they didn't really see anything else other than that. No matter what they say, putting that in there negates the second part. I don't care what you say. If you still see him because he's black, you didn't see about the middle class. If he was white, would you do the same thing? I don't think so. Nope. I know I've heard people say, oh yes I would. Well then you didn't need to put the comment in the first place to try and justify the second comment. If you really believe that he was better for the middle class, you didn't need to put in the comment, oh I voted for him because he was black anyway. There was no point. If you believe your boy could do the job without his blackness, you didn't need to say it. So that person just negated everything they said on my video. No problem. I don't hate them for it, but I'm just pointing out their duality right there. They make no sense. Next, when it comes down to it for you Democrats, you have no idea what to do going forward. It's already been stated right now that Harry Reid, the one who runs the Senate, has blocked practically everything that has been done by the president himself. Because honestly, the president has put budgets ahead right now because we're talking about the economy right now. The economy is the major problem right now, particularly in January. Tax hikes are going up. They have been putting this off for almost a year and a half. A year and a half, the Congress has been trying to put up a bill to the Senate to correct the problem with the economy and the tax problem, and Harry Reid has blocked every last one of them. When it came to the president himself, Harry Reid has gotten paperwork from the president. This is documented proof, and he has shot that down as well. They have been using what they have been using since before 2009. They have been trying to vote on new ones since around the beginning of 2010 to 11, and nothing has gone through. So if you're a big guy right there, which is Harry Reid, and saying that the poor black man is being treated bad doesn't make a difference. The only thing the president has to do is say, look, I want this in. I will do an executive order that will override this, basically the one who runs the Senate and the House, because the president can, in certain situations, override the House and the Senate to put an executive order, and he has not done this. What are you going to do now? This is an important thing for you folks, because you keep saying we have hope. We have hope that Barack Obama will do the job he's supposed to. Well, ladies and gentlemen, who are Democrats, who are liberals, who may call themselves progressive. It don't matter which one of those names you use. If your boy really does not take hold of the situation, and if he cannot get Harry Reid to do the business, and this is not about John Boehner no more. Don't get it twisted. I know people are going to say, oh, John Boehner is blocking it. No. The person who's blocking this right now is Harry Reid. I'm sorry. He's the one who's blocking everything. He's a Democrat. He's the head of the Senate. Anything that needs to go through right now must go through the Senate. If the Democrats in the House of Representatives who in Congress let's say they make a bill that both the Republicans like, honestly, if the Republicans and Democrats come out with a bill or come out with a budget that works, and they send it to the Senate to be finally decided on so it can finally go into action, and Harry Reid refuses to do it, it's not on John Boehner no more. I'm going to hear this later. I'm going to probably see it on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, no matter what, CBS. It makes no difference. If Harry Reid does not let it go through, it makes no difference. The person that can override Harry Reid and John Boehner is our president. Sorry for the slang a little bit. But look, honestly, you Democrats don't have much to work on. If they're not going to change what they're going to do, what happens in January? Our taxes go up. The tax cuts end. And they cannot fully continue putting extensions. Of course they can do that. The Senate can authorize extensions, which already still doing. But we still have a very severe problem that needs to be rectified, and they're not doing it. That just shows that with Democrats, people that I've seen doing videos dancing around, laughing, basically insulting Republicans, saying, we told you that we're going to win, that our boy was going to kick your boy's ass, that your boy was nothing. I heard a lot of these, where all of them are just trying to belittle and are belittling Republicans. Belittling them and laughing their asses off, happy as hell, but really, do you have a plan? Are all your Democratic fellows who are in Congress and Senate working for you? I don't see it. So you really have a big problem on your hands. This is not about the Republicans anymore supposedly going to the center and stretching their hand out to the Democrats. The Democrats are the problem right now, because if they're not willing to do the business, if the head of your party is not willing to take the hands on the reins, and is not willing to do an executive order to override the one that's giving us a problem, then you're not getting anywhere, and you're going to have eggs on your face for the next 4 years. You will. Now, when it comes to Republicans, what do we have here right now? I've seen videos, very few of them, of Republicans. There is almost no videos on YouTube, very few. They're almost completely blank. Unless it's someone who's doing something independent, which I will bring them up as well. Honestly, there is no representation on YouTube for Republicans right now. It's almost nothing. If there's a few there that will talk, they're very short videos, and they say they got to do something different. Look, I'm going to make this clear to all the Republicans right now, conservatives. One major problem you have is this. Right now, next to the media bashing your ass, the media have bashed the Republicans severely. I know people are going to say, oh, that's not true. Democrats got it bad, not as bad as Republicans. We can honestly say this. Republicans have been badly demonized by the Democratic Party and the media. Look at what Chris Matthews said the night of the election. I'm going to see if I can find a video that I can connect to this, saying what he said about Hurricane Sandy. He had to retract today. He made a retraction, apologizing, and I heard the apology was a bad one. He said simply, I am so glad Sandy happened, because politically it saved Obama's ass. Really? You actually want to try and say in the same breath, a hurricane. And he said in his response to what he said today, a tropical storm. He downsized a storm that was a Category 1 storm to a tropical storm. He is not a meteorologist. It is said that this is one of the worst storms in history, and he downsized it so he will look better. It was a hurricane, Class 1, Category 1. It knocked out how much lights in how many states? At least 3 to 5 states. Killed at least 60 people. So far, at least 60 to 80 people are dead. At least 20 people in New York alone died because of the storm. And he said this, the storm was a tropical storm. I was up for at least 10 hours. Does that make it right? I'm sorry. That's crap. He should have never said it. He should have never done it. That was the most insulting thing you could do. Saying simply, because of the storm, he won. And I'm glad about it. This is what he said, ladies and gentlemen. For Democrats, Republicans, Independents, you should be pissed off as hell that a stupid person from a stupid show, Hardball, said something that nasty. I have to say the truth. If this was a Republican that said it, not only would he be demonized, he would have been taken off the air. Chris Matthews is a Democrat. They're going to let it slide. That is the truth. That's how they roll. I'm shocked that someone would be stupid enough to say a comment like that and then give a stupid, weak response to it. Trying to, one, downsize a storm that was one of the biggest ones in over a century. And two, trying to justify, oh, I was up 10 hours. I have to go over to the courts and welfare and spend 15 hours there, and I still do videos, but I don't say something vicious to someone. I don't. The video I did for the reaction, that wasn't vicious. That was not meant to be nasty. And even though there was 6 dislikes to my video, there was 1 like to it, and the rest of the people, and it's now around 140 something right now, they didn't say anything. That doesn't mean they didn't like it or dislike it. You can take whatever you wanted from my video. And I had been on my feet with a very bad hip problem for 9 hours with a cane. And I didn't say something as vicious as that, saying, I'm glad a storm came. I wouldn't say something like that. I may try to enlighten you. Maybe I may say something impactful enough to really tick you off. But saying something like that is a travesty of justice. And if anyone that sees this as Democratic or Republican, you should be angry about that. But I'm going to leave it as that. And as I said, for Republicans, the one problem you've been demonized by both the media and by the other party. Now, what do you do going forward? How can I say this? For Republicans, you have put your message out to all the different races that are in this country. You have done your best to talk about conservatism. Now, I know a lot of people are saying maybe you need to go to center. If you are conservative, keep the message you have. Because the libertarian, Gary Johnson ran exactly as you were talking. He wasn't conservative, but he had the same kind of understanding as a conservative, but he went for the Libertarian Party. Not saying that he was conservative. There are differences. There are. Conservatives right now are really not talking about trying to legalize hemp. If you legalize hemp, you also have to legalize marijuana because it's under that category of a banned substance. When it comes to Republicans, particularly conservatives, they're not for that. Libertarians are. A lot about limited government. Both parties do talk about it. The Republicans and the Libertarians. You need to have limited government. You need to have more better borders. You need to have more better stuff for the middle class. Cutting taxes. Basically, they talked somewhat about that in the Libertarian Party, as well as they talked about that in the Conservative. And I wish to say this. If you really want to go forward, you're going to need to put someone, and I think someone said it already, you need to put people forward that are fully capable of handling the business. People who are not governors. Really, maybe you need governors to run, or mayors to run for president from now on. And if you're going to push, you're going to have to do it in a different way from now on. This is how you're going to probably need to do it. If you're going to try and run in 2016 and in 2014, trying to get new seats, you're going to have to do your business early. That's one. And not to say to do the dirty dealings of the Democratic Party. And I will come to that before I go to the independents. But for Republicans, you're going to have to start doing your business early. You're going to need to get rid of the rhinos of your party. In other words, the people who are always iffy about it, unless they're fully on board with what needs to be done, if they try to reach across the aisle, you're going to lose each and every time. Because as far as this country is concerned, because let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring up what I was saying just a moment ago about how the Democratic Party did their dealings. When it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, the Democratic Party is willing to do absolutely anything it needs to win. They will say whatever is necessary to win. And the media is going to back them up 100%, no matter if it's wrong or right. It don't make no difference. When it came to the president coming down on Romney about his religion, no matter how much you want to say that you don't like the Mormon religion, you didn't hear anything said about the president's Christian religion. Yeah, some people said he was still Muslim, but they didn't demonize it as bad as the Democrats demonized the Mormon religion. When it came to a woman dying because of a company Romney took control of and had to let go of several people, that was part of the Chapter 7 dealings, where you have to downsize, and that means you got to let people go. When it comes down to being told you're the one that directly caused the death of a woman, that is dirty dealing. Who in the hell would do something like that? If this was the reverse side and a Republican said this to a Democrat, not only would that man be driven out of the city, he would be driven out of the state and out of the campaign. So there is a very lopsided thing here. I am being honest about it. So when it comes to Republicans, if you reach across the aisle and you try to work with Democrats, that just strengthens their hand. And I know there's a lot of bits that are going to say that, well, if you don't do it, you're not going to do anything better anyway, because you're still going to strengthen the Democratic hand. True, to a point. There has to be a clear difference between both parties. I'm not saying either party's better. I'm not. I'm still independent. I'm still not going to go for either party because there's a lot of bias in both parties. Because when it comes down to it, there are a lot of Democrats that will destroy a Republican. But there are a lot of Republicans who want to look good to the people who they're trying to stay in, their constituents, and they will do what's necessary to be there, so they'll reach across the aisle for Democrats. The Democrats don't need to reach across the aisle because they have the majority. They always win as far as the people are concerned, as far as the media is concerned. For the Republicans, you can't do that. If you want to start reaching across the aisle, then you need to stop being considered Republicans. You need to just go and become a Democrat. Or in the best case scenario for the Democrats, you need to finally disband the party. Because if you're not getting anywhere with the Conservative Party, I haven't seen the Conservative Party on the ballot. That doesn't mean that they still don't exist. You need to get rid of it. For the simple fact that if most of your people keep reaching across the aisle, when they know they're going to get their hand cut off, when they know they'll still be treated bad by the media, the Democrats, and their constituents, which is the people that are for them and the people that are against them, what is the point of keeping the party going? Either disband it or get rid of the people who want to be being friendly with the, in a sense, enemy. That's your best option there. Now, when it comes to the independents, this is where there's a possibility of something eventually. You see, for independents, right now, what goes forward is going to affect you the most. And I know a lot of people are going to say this is still for Democrats. True. But this is what it comes down to it. When the parties are not working properly, when, like I said in the beginning of this video, what now happens going forward? What does Barack Obama do? What does the ones I saw doing the videos today and the last day and the days before that, dancing their asses around, belittling Republicans and not really giving a good idea of what needs to be done now? When it goes to the shithole, I'm sorry for cursing, ladies and gentlemen, really, but I'm honestly being clear here. What happens when the party that is dominating still can't deliver and the people continually keep voting them in? Look what happened in 2004 when they re-elected George W. Bush. They thought he can correct any problems, but then when the market crisis happened, when we still had the wars, no matter if you agree or not, people just got tired of it and they wanted to change. Right now they had to change now for the next 4 years. They had the first set of change, which didn't work. That's the reason why Barack Obama said himself, I need more time. No matter if you agree with it or not. If you think he's lying through his teeth or you think he can actually do it, he now is getting a second 4 years. For independence, this is eventually going to be an opportunity because the people are going to get tired again. If, and it isn't a very little if, this is a very big if, because this looks like it's going to happen. No matter whatever Democrat is looking at this, it don't make a difference to you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Democrat. Your boy does not have anything going forward. If, as I said before, Harry Reid continually blocks everything that's done by Democrats, Republicans, and the president, you will never get anything done. Unless your president actually does what he's supposed to, or the head of the state, the Senate actually does his job. What do you do now? You still have a war that's going on in Afghanistan. You still have to deal with what's going on in Iran, in Iraq, what's going on across the world when it comes to their crisis of their markets and of their budgets, of their governments, where there's still outbreaks of fighting because the governments have to cut back giving people stuff, where this could happen here. When you see all this, and all this goes down terrible for independence, this eventually is going to come to you, because people are going to see from both parties that this sucks, that the Republican Party still can't put anybody out that is a good conservative, where they can basically counteract the media bias, the Democratic bias, and currently, let's be honest, the people here, a lot of people don't want to pay attention to anything. Like I said with the person who left a comment on my video, he was black, I voted for him, and he voted for the middle class. Duh. That shows that people are not being sensible about what they're looking at. They're only going by what they feel, as someone said on CNN and on Fox. People are going by what they feel instead of actually using their intelligence to look at the actual proof. They're not doing it. This is where it comes down to it. People eventually, by the actual proof and by their feel, they're going to get sick of this and they're going to start looking at independence. When will this happen? Not going to happen in 2014. No. It's not going to happen in 2016. It's not. By my guess, and this is just my humble opinion, ladies and gentlemen, a simple, humble, independent. Maybe by 2025 or 2030 is when finally, when we see everything going to the crapper, and it's going to happen. Democrats right now have no plan. They are dead in the water unless they straighten themselves out. And no matter what any Democrat says right now, oh, you're a Republican. Oh, you're just saying this because you don't want people to see you're a Republican. No, I don't need to say this because I voted for Johnson. I knew he was going to lose. I got nothing to worry about here. My hands are clean. I know that whatever happens right now is all on you. No matter if Barack Obama is found guilty about letting 4 people die in the embassy in Libya, if he's found that he did a terrible job in the economy, if he's found that he's not doing a good job for the military, it don't make a difference. this is all on you. This is. But when it comes down to it, when everyone sees how bad Democrats are doing it, and they go to the Republican side, and that Republican candidate, if he's not buried, if he becomes president, and he doesn't have enough time to do the job because it's going to be that bad when he or she, because it could still be a female who becomes president, just like just on the Democratic side, where it can be a female as well. When they finally see that both parties are not only are so biased because of either the media or to how they attack the other, and how the people only care about feeling instead of actually seeing about actual proof, they will turn to the independents. Because finally people are going to get so sick of both parties, either one demonizing the other and the media demonizing the other, and that party that demonized is not doing anything, and when it comes to the other party that has been so badly demonized, they either have no power at all because most of the people keep reaching across the aisle to try and look good, or that their numbers are so small that there's nothing for them to do, and they may decide to close out the entire party itself. They will eventually turn to independents. I believe conservatives will eventually go to the independent party because the demonization is so bad and the party is going to be so small, there's no point for it. Damn it. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I had a phone call and I had to stop the video. Look, as simple as it is, what happens now? How do we go forward? Like I said, this is all on Democrats right now. This is not about Republicans. If the Republicans are willing to reach across the aisle or not, makes no difference. What it comes down to is this. If the Democrats do not have a clear idea of what to do forward, if they continue being as they are, and keep using the same things they've been using for the last 4 years, you have nothing. And all the people, as I said before, dancing around, being funny, saying and demonizing to a Republican, and they don't even have an answer what needs to be done, just shows that what was the point of the vote? What was the point of you voting if you don't have a clear idea of what needs to be done next? Because you can't blame Republicans in this respect. It's been found that Harry Reid has blocked so much garbage, so much stuff that is from our president directly, from the Republicans directly, and from his own Democrats directly, that what's the point? You can't say the poor black man's being treated badly, because the black man that so many people, and as I stated before, left on my comment bar in my video I did before, where people have been only one person made that comment about the reactions of the election. What happens now? What do you Democrats do? Republicans can't really be blamed anymore. This is on you. As I said in that video, this is all you. We had a hope and change already in 2008. This is the same. What is going to be done differently? Will you see things done, or will it stay the same? If this stays the same for the next 8 years, and you keep trying to blame the Republicans, you try to blame George Bush for the wars, George Bush for our economy, George Bush because of me not having an apartment, you can't really say that anymore. Because if Barack Hussein Obama was not willing to do executive orders that could have overridden both Congress and Senate, if Barack Hussein Obama was not willing to even want to do it because he doesn't want to insult his partner, who is, I believe, the Speaker of it's not the Speaker of the House, the Majority Leader, Harry Reid, what is the point? He's not scared of a white man, as you would probably say it. He's the President of the United States. Barack Obama doesn't need to be scared about anybody. So, you're the ones who's going to be having the more severe problem than the Republicans. This is not about them anymore, no matter what you say about the House. The president can basically, in emergencies, do executive orders that can override temporarily anything from Congress and Senate if it's an emergency. And then Congress and Senate can sort it out afterwards. So this is all on you, ladies and gentlemen, who is from the Democratic Party. For the Republican Party, I can say this. You've been beaten down. You have been insulted. You have been cursed at. You have been threatened. I've heard many Republicans have been threatened by Democrats. That's the honest truth. There hasn't been no threatening of Republicans on Democrats. It's been Democrats on Republicans. As I said in my previous video, your hands are clean, dudes. Your hands are clean. Does that mean you should fight harder? Yes. You need to change your tactics. You need to get rid of the people who keep wanting to cross the aisle and be Democrats. Let them become Democrats. You need to change how hard you have to fight. You got to fight 10 times harder, yes. But do you need to go to the same tactics as a Democrat? No. Let them fall. Then you do what you need to do. But you got to realize that you're going to even have a more harder time than them when you get into office, because they're going to demonize you up the yin-yang. When it comes to independence, this is how it goes. Independence. You, like the Republicans, your hands are clean. You didn't vote for either one of them. The Democrats are going to fall. That's the truth. If they can't straighten out their mess, like I said before, they're not joined together. They think because they got it all, they can do whatever the hell they want. And our president ain't doing what he's supposed to do either. So, eventually, the Republicans are going to get their shot again. But with the Republicans being demonized already, with the Republicans having the problem that half their party or a third of the party wants to try and be sweet to the Democrats and makes them weaker, eventually the party is going to be so small and so weak, they're going to turn to you. Eventually. Maybe by 2025 or 2030. I'll be probably in my 60s then. Because I'm in my 40s right now. I'm in my 40s. This will probably happen in the early to maybe my mid-60s, when finally people are going to say, you know what, both parties suck, and we need to try something entirely different. And that's when they may finally get it through their heads that from the time both parties were formed, because beginning of our country, there were more than one party. There was. The Republicans came almost about 70 to 90 years after the formation of our country. Really, it was. At least 70 to 90 years, sorry. But really, both parties have become very bloated. One party that started the entire thing has become so biased, so racist, so bloated, and having a superiority complex. They have destroyed themselves no matter how great they look right now, because if you look at everyone's video dancing around and not giving actual ideas of what needs to be done, compared to Republicans who will give ideas, you know the party's screwed. So they will turn to the independent party. It will eventually happen. Will it happen now? No. I'm sorry to say this to my brothers and sisters who are independents. It's not going to happen. But you know what? It's okay. It will eventually happen. So I hope you like this video. I hope you subscribe and comment. And as I said before, remember to know that I do mainly wrestling videos, and I don't normally do other things like music or everything all the time. It's sporadic. But if you like wrestling, I have some pretty good ideas about wrestling. As I said in my videos, I'm a novice still, above average fan, but my ideas are not too bad. So you have a good day, and take care of yourselves, no matter who you are.